Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it feels like forever since I've uploaded, but I think it's only been just over a week, so I don't know what's going on. I think the days are starting to drag. I am going on my winter break from work on December 18th, so I've been counting down the days until I can get my winter break and finally just step back from 2020 and just have a little bit of downtime. So today I wanted to share with you a book haul, and these are some used books as well as vintage horror that I've gotten over the past little while, and it's quite a haul. I'm really proud of it and I'm really excited to have these books. So before we get into the haul, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. So during my last used haul, I was complaining a little bit because we had gone to a really large used bookstore in Southern Calgary, and I was really disappointed with what they had for their horror selection. Like I said, she led me into like a back room and there was pretty much just 2 shelves of horror, and it was all Stephen King, Dean Koontz, and Anne Rice. And nothing wrong with those authors, of course, but I was just looking for something a little bit different. So I did find another used bookstore in Calgary, and this is great because not only do they have their physical bookshop, but they also have their entire catalog online. So all you have to do is go in on their website and just filter by what genre that you want to see. And they have everything from used books, new books, you can special order books, which is great. And so I just put in an order online and just told them, hey, I'll come pick it up and I'll pay when I pick it up. And I think you have like a week. So all of that is available at Pages Bookstore in Kensington. So if you're in the Calgary area and you're looking for some great used books, these are all in fantastic condition, and I was really pleased with the pricing too. I got all of these books for anywhere between $3 and $5, so that was fantastic. So I wanted to share those used books with you, but also I'm a really big user of Garage Sale. Now I don't know if Garage Sale is just in Canada, I'm not really too sure, but there is an option where you can put out a looking for category. So I just put in that I was looking for vintage horror, and I had quite a few people come back and say that they were willing to sell me some vintage horror and stuff that wasn't posted. So I thought that worked out really, really well, and it's stuff that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. So I got quite a few books from just local sellers around my town here, quite a big stack. So I have everything from Fear Street to other R.L. Stine. There's some Christopher Pike. Yeah, so I'm excited to share this haul with you. So first up, for a couple of the vintage books. Now, I'm not going to read out the synopses of these because we would be here all day. I will read the synopses of the used books that I got, but for the vintage ones, I'll just show you what I got and you can feel free to go look them up on Goodreads. So the first one is A Nightmare Hall. So I read a lot of Nightmare Hall when I was growing up, and the original books have the raised letters, and they all have this little window in the front. There's supposed to be a little window sash here, but it just got ripped off, and I found that actually when I was growing up they always just ripped off. So you get this little window cut out, and then of course when you open it you get more of the actual scene of what the book is going to be about. And so this is fantastic. It's in fairly good condition other than the little torn piece on the front. So like I said, read a lot of Nightmare Hall when I was growing up. I'm definitely on the lookout for some of these. So yeah, I have one Nightmare Hall. And then the other one that I was particularly excited about was this Christopher Pike. So this is Road to Nowhere, and I read more Christopher Pike when I was growing up than I did R.L. Stine. I did read a lot of R.L. Stine, but Christopher Pike was what really appealed to me more so, and I remember reading his books like over and over. I don't believe I actually read this one when I was growing up. I can't remember it. When I start reading it again, I might remember it a little bit. But what I love about the original printings is this fantastic sort of 80s or early 90s neon lettering. So the reprinted copies of these, there's no more of this great neon. When they redid them in later years, they completely changed the covers. So these original ones are the ones that I'm looking for. So we have that one, and we have two other Christopher Pike. I actually didn't read any of the Spooksville when I was growing up. I just read the regular novels. So I was excited to get a couple of Spooksville, and these are in fairly good condition as well. So excited to have those for my collection. So I'm just going to go back and forth between the vintage horror and the used books, so nothing is clumped together. So this first book that I got, the used copy, is The Silent Girls by Eric Rickstad. And this one is the second book in the Canaan Crimes series. And I'm not sure if I need to read the first book in order to read this one, or if the stories are completely separate. I think the stories might be separate, but if I do need to pick up the first one, it's not a big deal. I'll look it up and just see if the stories are related at all. So this is a crime story. It has to do with an 89 Monte Carlo being found on the side of the road, and there is a young girl who is missing, and we follow the detective as he is looking for her. And just reading from Goodreads, a detective is brought face to face with the worst abominations of the human soul. With the consequences of his violent and painful past plaguing him, and young women with secrets vanishing one by one, he discovers once again that even in the smallest towns on the map, evil lurks everywhere and no one is safe. So, pretty straightforward crime novel. So again, I'll check out and see if I have to get the first one, but we have this one anyway, and it was just $5. And the next used book I have is The Witch of Ravensworth by George Brewer. And this is originally a book, it's very small, it's only 100 pages. So this is a book originally that was published in 1808. And again, just reading from the Goodreads, it says a blend of gothic horror, fairy tales, and bizarre humor. So this follows a man named Baron de la Branche who wants to do away with his wife and child so he can marry another woman. And in order to help him, he enlists the help of the Hag of Ravensworth, and she has sold her soul to be able to get supernatural powers. And of course, when he starts working with her, she starts to lead him more and more into depravity and murder. And it says at the very end that it all leads to a startling and unforgettable conclusion. So this, I think, will be a great little read, really quick. I mean, you can sit down and read this in the afternoon, and just from the synopsis, I'm really excited to read this one and see how it ends. So the next book I have is The Charmed Children of Rookskill Castle, and this is by Janet Fox. So this is the first book in a series, and it seems to be very dark academia, which you know is right up my alley. So this is a book about an old manor that is actually converted into a boarding school to house children who are escaping from the Blitz. But soon the children realize there's something terribly wrong. They think there's a spy in the house, and there are signs of undeniable magic going on. So again, just reading from Goodreads, when the children in the castle's temporary boarding school began disappearing one by one, it is a race against the clock for 12-year-old Kat Bateson, her two younger siblings, and their new best friend to figure out what's going on. So that's where our adventure begins with this one. Sounds like a middle grade to me, and the font is fairly big, but I think this one will be a quick one to get through as well. So next up for the vintage horror, I did find 9 of the original Fear Street books, and these are all in fantastic condition. So I did manage to get some from the regular Fear Street series, as well as some of the 99 Fear Street sagas, and the Super Chillers. But these 9 are just from the original Fear Street series, so I'll just show these to you quickly. So we have The Stepsister, Cheerleaders the New Evil, The Mind Reader, The Confession, The Surprise Party, The Secret Bedroom, Sunburn, One Evil Summer, and The Boy Next Door. So like I said, these are all in really fantastic conditions, especially for being first printings. Most of the spines aren't even cracked, so these are fantastic to add to my collection. So the next used book that I got is The Swallow by Charis Cotter. And this is another middle grade novel that follows two young girls who are best friends, and they're actually neighbors. So they share a wall and they both love to spend time up in their attic. So we have one girl, Polly, who is really outgoing and she is really interested in ghosts. And then we have Rose, who is a little bit more subdued, but she's also a little strange and something seems a little bit off, and her family is very strange as well. So the two girls end up going to a local cemetery and they uncover a headstone that actually has Rose's name on it, but they also encounter a sinister spirit who wants to hurt Polly, and the two girls are trying to unravel the mystery of Rose's strange family. So the first thing that pulled me into this book is that it takes place in 1960s Toronto, and of course, being Canadian, I had to support a story that was also Canadian. And the other thing is I've heard some really great things about this book as well. So another quick read. I think it is a middle grade. The font is fairly big, so I think this is going to be a nice, cozy, spooky book. So the next used book that I got is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer book. So this is Creatures of Habit, and it's very short. And so here we have all of our favorite Buffy characters. I am a huge fan of the Buffy series and of the original movie. I actually don't have any of the Buffy books, which is really strange. I think it just escaped me and I didn't start collecting them. So this particular story revolves around a new vamp in town who is friends with Spike, and he likes to throw parties and invite all of the local teens from Sunnydale, and of course it ends up being a complete bloodbath. So of course the Scooby Gang is on the case and we'll see what happens in the end. But what I really loved about this book is it has some great illustrations. So we have some small, just black and white illustrations amongst the text, but then we have these full color graphics as well. So this is another really short one. So this would be great just to get through if I'm having a little bit of a reading slump and want something that's cozy and familiar. And like I said, I am one of the biggest Buffy fans around, so happy to have this one. So next up for the vintage horror is more Fear Street. So these are the super chillers that I found, and again in fantastic condition. So we have Cheerleaders, The Evil Lives, The Dead Lifeguard, Broken Hearts, Party Summer, Goodnight Kiss, Silent Night 2, and The New Year's Party. So happy to have those for the collection as well. I think I'm gonna start keeping a spreadsheet just to catalog everything that I already have and what I'm looking for, so then I can just continue to look for the ones that I need to complete the collection. So the next used book I got is Dreamland by Robert L. Anderson. And here we follow O'Day Donahue, who has the ability to enter into people's dreams, and it's called walking or dream walking. So her mother tells her that there are 3 rules of dream walking: never interfere, never be seen, and never enter the same person's dream more than once. But of course, as she becomes a more skilled dream walker, Day starts to bend the rules, and then the veil between the real world and the dream world starts to crumble, and we end up, of course, not knowing what is real and what is dreams. So I actually haven't heard anything about this book, so if you guys know anything about Dreamland, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. So the next used book that I found was Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Landy, and this is the first, I believe, of a series. So this is a really nice hardcover. It has deckled edges. Seems like a middle grade, very large print, but I have heard good things about this just from what I've read online. I haven't heard anything about this on BookTube, so again, let me know down below if you've heard of this one. So just reading from the Goodreads synopsis: Stephanie's Uncle Gordon is a writer of horror fiction, but when he dies and leaves her his estate, Stephanie learns that while he may have written horror, it certainly wasn't fiction. Pursued by evil forces intent on recovering a mysterious key, Stephanie finds help from an unusual source: the wisecracking skeleton of a dead wizard. So that sounds like a really fun read. Like I said, this is the first in a series, so if we enjoy this one, I'll have to pick up more of these books. And the last two that I got from the used bookstore, I won't go through any synopses of these because they are very, very well known. And the first one is Carrie by Stephen King. Of course, this is one of my favorite movies. So it looks like this particular edition is a reissue in 2002, so it's not too old. It looks a little bit beat up, but for $4, I couldn't pass this one up. And the last book that I found at the used bookstore is this absolutely incredible copy of Rosemary's Baby. This edition is in immaculate condition. It was printed in 1968, so I'm amazed that it's in the condition that it's in. And it has these gorgeous turquoise sprayed edges. And on the back, it's too bad that it's actually covered up with a price sticker, but it does have the tie-in for the movie. So this is like a little marketing plug for the movie that came out in the late 60s with Mia Farrow. And I just thought that this was absolutely stunning. It smells really good too. I think this must have been sitting in a library for a while because it just has that feel and it has that smell. And for $4 Canadian, just couldn't pass that one up for sure. So the last couple of vintage horror that I have are one 99 Fear Street book and a couple of the Fear Street sagas. So the first one is 99 Fear Street, The First Horror, and this one is in not such great condition. Obviously it met its demise with a little bit of water, but there's no mold and there's no smell, so I still went ahead and picked that one up. The next saga is The Awakening Evil, The Betrayal, and The Secret. So that was the end of the Fear Street that I picked up. So quite a few Fear Street to add to my collection, which I'm super happy about. And then the last two that I have are just fantastic in their own right. So this one here is just quintessentially late 80s, early 90s with the neon pink and this cool dude looking skeleton in his purple tank top and sunglasses. So this is not part of the Fear Street series. This is just a one-off R.L. Stine, and it was printed in 1994. And you could definitely see from the cover art that this is definitely early 90s. So just reading from the back here. Sand, surf, sun, Roxy lives for the summer. But this summer, things aren't going the way Roxy planned. It all started when she broke into Lee Bloom's house just to win a stupid bet. Because while she was in Lee's house, Roxy saw something she shouldn't have seen. Heard something she shouldn't have heard. And now someone is looking for Roxy. Someone who wants her dead. So that sounds fantastic. And this one was just thrown in with the Christopher Pike that I had gotten from a local seller here. And it's called Just Pretend by J.V. Luton. So reading from the back here, it says Deadly Visions. 16-year-old Clay Brannon has the ability to see things. Some call it a gift, but Clay calls it a curse. Especially when he hears a little girl's voice on a call-in radio show. She said, "I pretended a bad man, and he's going to kill me." Although the phone call is dismissed as a prank, Clay knows what he heard is true. In his mind, he can visualize a little girl at the mercy of a madman who has killed before and will kill again, unless Clay can find him and stop him just in time. It won't be easy though, because Clay has just seen an image of someone's death, his own. So that sounds fantastic. This is in fairly good condition. There's a little bit of a crease in the front here and someone has put their name on it. But it sounds like a really fun little read. And apparently there's a little bookmark in here too. So that's it for this haul. That is all the used and vintage horror that I've picked up recently. I do have some new books that I have as well, but I will keep that in its own haul around the holidays. So that's everything I have for you guys. Let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and we can chat about if you guys have read any of these books. But until next time, stay spooky guys. Bye!